woman who does some fantastic work for Imam Hussein charity, Imam Hussein charity, because they do a lot of great work in Iraq, specifically over the Muharram and Arba'een period, with titles known as The Thirst Remains, which I absolutely love, and we'll speak to her very, very soon. Essentially, one of the projects is also called a sponsor, a first-time ziyarah, essentially. And speaking of first-time ziyarah, this lady as well did perform her first ziyarah in Arba'een, which again we will speak of very, very soon. Here in the studio, live with me, Sister Sumayah. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Fantastic,
okay.
fantastic. Pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much. Now, I did mention that, you know, first-time ziyarah, and you guys as a charity will do the sponsor or first-time ziyarah. But before we talk about the charity, I really want to know about your experience going to ziyarah in Arba'een. How did it go?
It was intense.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it was very intense. A lot of people said, look, you know, go when it's much quieter because it's going to be very busy.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I don't think I would change it at all.
Yeah.
It's difficult when there's so many people to sit and connect, but when you look at the energy around the city at that point in time, it's something that your heart just gets swept up in and your body follows.
Yeah.
So your mind and your heart just connects, and you go towards the shrine. And even if spiritually you're not there, your heart is there already.
Yeah.
I was really feeling like I was missing Karbala a couple of days ago. And I was just scrolling through my phone, and I was like, I honestly feel like I left my heart in Karbala.
Beautiful.
Genuinely feel like I left
I mean,
my heart
that's
in Karbala.
generally the feeling that pretty much 99.9% of all Zuwar have when they go back to their country or go back to their homelands, is that I left my heart in Karbala. Talk to us about, I guess, the challenges that you faced.
Oh, the heat was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
I'm not used to wearing the chador on my head with all the abaya and everything. It's quite tough to kind of navigate that, and you know, the walk in that heat plus wearing all those layers, it's a lot. But I think in terms of having to overcome that, you just make sure that you have to speak to the right people, get the right advice before you go, light fabrics and that sort of stuff. But that was one big challenge. And I think another challenge for me personally was that I did feel like it was a little bit difficult to connect at that time. It was a first-time ziyarah, so when you land, it doesn't really hit you. And then I had this moment when I went into the basement of Imam Hussein's shrine, and I actually saw the dhari, and I just broke down. I absolutely broke down, and at that point, that's when my heart just kind of, it felt like everything clicked into place. But I think the challenge up until then was you kind of get swept up a little bit in the busyness of it. That you sort of forget the intensity. I know that sounds a little bit strange because you're there for Arba'een, but you walk down the street and there's molkibs lining the streets, and I said
it takes like half an hour to get like from one place to another, which usually should take a couple of minutes. I just want to move, I guess, just for time. It's fantastic to hear about your experience, and I think it is pretty much shared amongst every single other person that I've heard speaking about their first time ziyarah experience, which is great. Let's talk about, I guess, your daily life here in London. So let's escape Karbala for a second. And I think, you know, you have a leading role for Imam Hussein charity. I believe that you're head of fundraising and events, which are two massive things as part of the charity. I guess tell us firstly about the Thirst Remains campaign. How did that go for Muharram and Arba'een?
So that is the Al-Atash campaign.
Oh, the overall campaign is called Al-Atash,
so that's been running for a couple of years, but the Thirst Remains, it was the water, the thirst remains, and then you could also kind of view it as the thirst for the love of Imam Hussein remains, and it's remained throughout these thousands of years. And the campaigns in general, we had a few in Muharram and we had slightly different ones in Arba'een. In Muharram, we have the water for the Zawar, we have the Niyaz and Tabarruk. And in Arba'een, we had the first time ziyarah, and we have we continued with the Niyaz, Tabarruk and the water for that. But yeah, those are the ones that usually kind of run constantly. But this one was slightly different. We had the first time ziyarah, which is something that's never been done before. So that was one that, mashallah, really kind of took off
Yeah.
this year, and we're so proud of that. And
Yeah.
you know, usually it gets intense and very busy
Yeah.
during these times.
No, I appreciate that. So I want to talk, I guess, specifically and we'll very briefly. Working for a charity.
Yeah.
This is probably off script, and I do apologize, but I've always had this in my mind. Working for a charity is not the most perceived to be glamorous role in the world. Why do you do it?
I don't know. Honestly,
Yeah.
I started working
Because I've seen, sorry to cut,
Yeah.
I've seen you in your role, and you have so much passion and love and care and dedication to it.
Yeah.
What's causing all that?
I think the big thing is the love of Imam Hussein. But when you see these little things that make a difference to people, like we've done, mashallah, quite a few events in the last few months.
Yeah.
People come up to me and say to me, oh, you know, we have your Kaka Shafa cards, or we've been giving to Sadaqah. And when you hear these stories face to face, your heart kind of jumps a little bit, and you
Yeah.
go, oh, I'm actually making a difference.
Yeah.
So that for me is the humanitarian aspect of it, as well as the love for Imam Hussein.
Yeah.
Because we're doing all of this in the name of Imam Hussein and the Ahlul Bayt.
Absolutely.
So just knowing that what we're doing is making a difference,
Inshallah.
and regular everyday people can see it and notice it.
Yeah.
Hearing that kind of feedback is something that really sort of helps drive me to continue do what I do.
Okay, that's fantastic. Sumayah Hussain, I really appreciate. I
Thank
would
you so
love to
much.
have more of an in-depth conversation
Yeah.
with you, but it's just time is not on our side.
No,
at
thank you
this
for
moment.
having me.
But thank you so
Thank
much
you for having me.
for appearing on Morning Barakah.